Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Eastern Border. I'd like to start this one with the thing that I usually say on the end of the show. I would like you all to please, if you can, of course, if you can't, it doesn't matter, but if you can, please join our Patreon on patreon.com/Eastern Border. They're not very reliable because they apparently they had troubles doing the transfer things from about 30% of my patrons, and this month's looking rough for me. I'm gonna sort this thing out, and this motivates me to write a book because Patreon is a thing which, I didn't know this could happen, but it's really painful because it's been dropped because people have complained to me that they couldn't, they wanted to support me, but they couldn't, and well, it's because of Patreon's fault. Basically, there's some issue because I'm in EU and most of my listeners, which you are probably from the United States, are in the United States and all that stuff. Anyways, if you can, join the Patreon. I'll sort this thing out. If you wanted to support the show but you had some issues, please go to the Eastern Border LV and just click the donate button there because, been a technical mess. However, besides the weird thing, because I feel awkward talking about Patreon and all that stuff. Although it does matter. It does really matter to me. I felt really awkward talking about that stuff when I could be doing news. So I'm doing news instead. But it just makes me feel weird. So please double check, and if you can support me, please do. But on the news, again, finally done with the horrible stuff. Well, I had a fun thing happening because, like, the war itself is a bit tied down, and we all saw. I'm pretty sure that on this week, where I hadn't been posting the episode, you saw the Zelensky speech about how the war is going. The thing is, most Western media have turned it into some sort of defeatist speech and turned it into Zelensky now hates Zelensky and all that stuff. But it's not the case. It's just that the war is in a bit of trouble because, well, there's a moment of being stuck in there. And that's kind of it. No side can make any movements. We're stuck in a situation where, well, Ukraine needs more equipment, as usual, and if it had been given according to what we all wanted to be given to, we wouldn't be in such a situation. But sadly, it's not the case. However, most of Western media disregard the situation that Zelensky in his speech spoke about what's needed to do to win the war, and they've translated it to the war is lost already or we have difficulties. Well, of course, we have difficulties. It's a war. And it's just a weird situation. Zelensky himself said, quote, "The situation is not a stalemate. Russia controls the sky. We are protecting our military. No one wants to just throw people away as if they were meat, like Russia does. How to overcome this? F-16s have to wait until the guys are trained until they come back. When there are air defenses at the front, soldiers move forward and use the equipment." Which reminds me of the fact that there were calls about giving them planes at the beginning of the war. I still really don't know what stopped these people, because right now we're going through this same chain where, when Ukraine asks something and the Western side is, at the beginning, they're like, we're not going to give it anything, and then they do. Eventually, after deliberation, it's just, the slowness and inability to act just annoys me to no end. At the same time, besides this, because a lot of people will be just worried about the whole thing goes losing Zelensky, but don't worry about that. It's fine. It's been mistranslated, and people just want to win the war. However, what I can bring you is the fact that Ramzan Kadyrov's 15-year-old son, yes, the same guy who beat up the prisoner on camera, well, he's been given an important position in this, that's one of the quotes, in the security service for the head of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov himself, which is Adam Delimkhanov, the guy who wrote the whole... He was the guy who wrote the statements praising this guy. Anyways, he wrote that stuff. Quote. Appointing my dear nephew to this position is completely justified. I still don't know what position that is, by the way. No reports, just top positions. Quote, since childhood, Amzan Rabzanovich has shown himself to be a worthy man for whom the concepts of honor and dignity are of utmost importance. Dilliam kind of also wrote down all this stuff. And the problem is that he wrote this, but we don't know which position. Zamit Chilyaev, the commander of the Internal Affairs Ministry Special Police Regiment in Chechnya, posted on Instagram that Kadyrov's 15-year-old son has been appointed as the head of security service for the leader of Chechnya. So, Ramzan Kadyrov is now relying on his 15-year-old kid to be the head of fucking Chechnya. Like, his security service. Like, I want to talk about this later on, and I will. I'm sorry if I'm rambly, but you'll understand why later. But this just is an entry thing. They are not even pretending to be a real country anymore. This is just done at this point. Just done. Because this is just so stupid. I don't even know what kind of a level of you... What kind of level do you need to fall down to even do such a thing? I mean, it's obvious corruption. It's not even trying to hide anything. No. Just obvious. But before we get to our main thing of this whole episode, I have to say about the pogroms that I mentioned in the previous one. See, the thing is, like, the fact is that one of the main ways how people got their information about the refugees from Israel thing happening in Dagestan that led to this anti-Semitic riot at Makhachkala, a pogrom basically, on October 29th was a Telegram channel called Morning Dagestan. The channel was originally launched by former Russian State Duma deputy Ilya Ponomarev, who, by the way, left Russia in 2014 and is an active supporter of Ukraine in its fight against Moscow in this war. Ponomarev announced after the riot that he's no longer associated with the channel, but the Dagestani authorities, who were ready to blame anyone for the pogroms, cited the channel by name and claimed it was run by traitors and banderites from Ukraine. And sort of a weird situation here. See, Russian State Duma deputy, former one, Ilya Ponomarev, he, by the way, became a Ukrainian citizen in 2019. Just after the war, he launched a media project called February Morning. The purpose of the initiative, he said at the time, was to tell the truth about, what's happening directly to people inside Russia. In addition to the project's main YouTube account and Telegram channel, Ponomarev wanted to create a network of Telegram channels to target regions of Russia individually. Most of these, such as Morning Petersburg and Morning Pskov, magnificently failed to gain traction. It was horrible. They gained no followers and they just died. One of the regional channels, however, eventually became even more popular than the main one. February Morning, channel Morning Dagestan. It was exactly this channel that posted some of the most widely shared messages warning of Israeli refugees in the days leading up to the anti-Semitic riot at Makhachkala airport. And Fyodor Klimenko, here, was one of the key figures who helped Ponomarev launch this Friday morning. He has told my journalist friends that he has served as editor-in-chief of the media project until he resigned in the February 2023 upon disagreements between him and the boss. According to Klimenko, Ilya Ponomarev hasn't had control over Morning Dagestan for more than a year now. In late 2022, February Morning administrators began announcing in interviews and social media posts that they had stopped receiving payments for their work months earlier. One employee told journalists that Ponomarev's decision to take credit for the assassination of Russian pro-war pundit Darya Dugin, yes, we're talking about the same guy who somehow claimed that he has exploded Darya Dugin, which is obviously stupid that he did it. Well, they said that this came as a shock. So he made the channel. It was a shock, and now no one knows who runs it. So all this stuff happened because dude makes a channel, Russian liberal, so-called liberal opposition, right? And then he makes stupid posts, then people take over. In this channel, there are posted like messages about how Israeli migrants would come to Dagestan in part of Russia, right? And then it's done. It's so bizarre. Well, this is today's Russia. And the thing is, like, we're going to see more incidents like this. Let me tell you, we're going to see a lot more incidents like this, just with various nationalities. However, before I do my stupid monetization gig again, I probably won't do that, but still, I want to talk about how this war has stuck in a stalemate, and all everything's information basically. Because Ukraine can win only if the West helps her, and the West will help her only if we have enough data and how media works and all that stuff. I hope I make some sense. But information board is very important. And right now, just 2 days ago, in a concert dedicated to Unity of Russia. Yeah, it was a Unity of Russia Day. And there, a shaman, well, his name is Shaman. He's a rap singer, I think. I haven't listened to his songs. I've only seen his video clips, and he's a rap singer, I guess, but not by much. Not by much. He's also one of those like pop guys. He just smacked a fake red button to show how Russia should just nuke everyone, which caused a giant uproar. Even among the Z channels, by the way, all the pro-war ones. But we'll get to them. And the thing is, everyone hated him for this, but the violence and the whole hatred is just moving upwards. And these Z channels, these pro-war, pro-Putin guys, right? Well, I've been speaking for a while now, but this is the main subject of the show, because on the front lines, it's a kind of a stalemate-ish, and Ukraine needs equipment, and 10 meters gained, 10 meters lost. If there would be more news, I would be talking about them. One thing that I know for sure is that another thing which happened in one of the few segments, because I record this in multiple segments, came in. Former presidential associates and clerks are not a source. No, United States and EU are not forcing Ukraine to do any talks, because that would be stupid if they just approved new aid packages. And maybe, just maybe, using a former presidential administration, the United States one that is, person as a source is not valid enough for the current one. Just saying. Just some people trying to be more reactionary, I guess, or more loud. But talking about more loud, yeah, once again, please support me on Patreon and donate on the Eastern Border LV. We're done with that thing. Like I mentioned again. But what happened is that for the first time in my life, as I'm working here, I have now seen truly how Z channels collapse. Because it's hard for me to talk about this. This is why I have been mincing around for such a long time here. You see, Ramzan Kadyrov and Yevgeny Prigozhin, they had a bit of an issue here. And if you know something about Prigozhin, you know that he had ruined my birthday and then other things as well. But he had a hatred of Chechnya, because a lot of Wagner Group soldiers had been hurt in Chechen wars and all that stuff. And then, out of all my Z channels, there's a Russian propagandist journalist, Alexandra, I forgot the surname. Well, Alexandra, she had worked as a PR agent for Kadyrov himself, basically. And she posted a message saying that most of Wagner Group soldiers have transferred to, Akhmat, Battalion Akhmat. Akhmat was the father of Ramzan Kadyrov. The problem is it's in Chechnya, and Wagner Group hated the Akhmat. Now, there's another channel called The 13th, whom I also follow. And this guy, he just posted, because he likes to do these, in Telegram you can do shorts, and he does YouTube shorts basically, just in Telegram. And he also just debunked this, saying that I don't know who this lady is. Oh, by the way, he does know, but doesn't matter. Except that, it's a lie. And one thing led to another, and we had the journalist basically doxing the other blogger guy. I follow both of them, and the news here from the Russian side come from them. And there was doxing involved, multiple death threats and everything. And what I want to say about this is that the Russian side is just falling apart internally. And that probably you shouldn't trust anyone that people with insane criminal records say, because it turns out, like, in this whole argument, the Trinacity guy, the 13th one, that's the name of this thing, he threatened to literally kill with sledgehammers the other journalist from the Russian side who had accused him of being a criminal, and he kind of is. No, he for real is, because he had shot at people, he had stabbed some people, he now escaped to the front lines, and then he responded not with the fact that he hadn't stopped, he hadn't stabbed many people. He responded with the fact that those people are now serving time in jail for drugs and, pedophilia. How legit this is, no one knows, but they are fighting against each other. And they're fighting against Shaman as well. The main part of today is how they're breaking down. No matter who you are on the pro-war, pro-Z side, people are trying to get a piece of the pie here. Because we have seen right now accusations of being a traitor thrown out all over the place. Accusations of anything, and some things have data. Accusations of also supporting the Banderovites in Ukraine, which is stupid. This whole event wouldn't be, that interesting unless, besides yelling at each other, besides telling that your side is the wrong one and I have this proof, and I actually don't know whose proof to believe because they both are, quite stupid. Turns out that the pro-Russian Alexandra journalist lady had paid up to 150,000 rubles, which is, 1,500 euros, to other Telegram channels just to spread news which she had written about 13. Which means that instead of donating to the war or something, we have a criminal who has shot at people, who has stabbed people, and how now wants to fight for Russia, versus a pro-propaganda journalist who kind of smacks him down because she wants to upkeep some Russia's good image. And it's just phase 2. Phase 3 is coming in soon because this has to end somehow. But this is the reality that we live in. Israel is attacking Gaza sector, and I don't even want to get involved in that. I know nothing about the Middle East. Well, not to this level. And right now, the war in Ukraine is, people are just claiming whatever they want about this, and the war itself is kind of winding down. Meanwhile, at least I don't have any conflicts with other journalists who cover this topic. Meanwhile, the folks who are sort of in a vested interest in the whole situation, they're not in the best of times because everyone is now accusing everyone else on stealing humanitarian aid. Like the money that you would give to support the Russian soldiers, to give them some sort of leeway and give them some benefits. This apparently is no longer valid because the number one insult here is the fact that most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them quite definitely just pocket the money. And if you donate to Russia, sorry guys, I know you're like from the enemy side, you also listen to me too, but sorry guys, you're screwed because all of the money is just being stolen. Because someone wants to buy a new PlayStation, as we have seen with the recent Nazi. The situation is weird. And, the first sign that propaganda is failing is here. Soon the governments will start to fail as well. Because also adopting Adam Kadyrov, Ramzan Kadyrov's son, as one of your chief officers in your chief positions, that really doesn't bode well for any stability. At any rate, thank you for listening. До свидания, товарищи. This is it for today. We'll be back very soon enough with more historical episodes. Because I met Anna recently, and I promised her that I'll do a few shows with the subject matters that she asked, right? And now I'm going to be in Lithuania for journalism courses. Lots of work to do, and by no means easy. Again, до свидания, товарищи. As always, happiness is mandatory.